wrap it up in this last video here. I'll be tying everything together that we went over, and this is going to be about change of character, or they call it change of direction, or a shift in market structure, or a market structure shift. So many different names for it. Essentially, it's the same thing. It's when the market switches from an uptrend to a downtrend, or a downtrend to an uptrend. So let's go ahead and just zoom out here and take a look at what that looks like before we get into any type of live examples. We all know what an uptrend is, and we all know what a downtrend is. And let's say the market is starting off. Let's actually switch this to a 2, and I guess we'll keep it black. Boom, the market is giving you that accumulation. Let's say this is, consolidating, and then we sweep, break above, retest, and then we proceed to head higher, giving us that uptrend. And along the way, we see more examples. Sweep, break above, boom. That's how the market is moving. Sweep, break above. So this is a clear uptrend. And then for some reason, we start to consolidate once again. And we sweep the highs, break beneath the lows. Now we have that distribution. But we sold off into a previous accumulation zone. And then we see a spike in price, right? Because people are buying here. That's a fair buy. That's a clear indication of buys. We have the accumulation, price drops into it. So naturally, you press buy. You have your buy limit set. So we buy up, but unfortunately, we don't break above these previous highs. We don't make new highs. Maybe we fill in some imbalance, or we mitigate off an order block, something of that nature, or we retest a previous break of structure somewhere in this area, and then price sells off aggressively. Boom. Selling off to another previous accumulation schematic. What happens? People have their buy limit set, and naturally buys. Right? It makes sense. So what happens? Price moves up a little bit, gives us that uptrend that we like. Okay, cool. Maybe even accumulates. Sweeps again. Sells off hard. You're like, oh. And then we come back up here. We still don't make new highs. And then we sell off again. But where do we sell off to? A previous accumulation schematic. Right? And along this way, we're uptrending. So try to figure out, before I get into it, where we shifted from an uptrend to a downtrend. Where was the first inclination? Where was the first signal of that happening? Before I even dive into it, I want to see what you see. We were uptrending, making higher highs and higher lows, higher highs and higher lows, over and over. And throughout that process, we are creating the accumulation schematics. It looks great. And then all of a sudden, the market starts to sell off. But where was the first indication of that happening? Because what I remember is we were consolidating right here. We swept the lows and we broke structure to the upside. And then we consolidated again. But we didn't sweep the lows this time. We actually swept the highs, and then we broke structure to the downside right here. We broke beneath these lows. Interesting. That was the first indication that of price wanting to switch from an uptrend to a downtrend. That very first break of structure to the downside. Because before, it was all nice and dandy. We're only breaking structure to the upside, really, on these time frames. And all of a sudden, we switch. We change character. So that was that first change of character. That was the first indication of us switching. And then what happened? Price respected this distribution and sold off. And as we see here, it tried to buy more and more, respecting previous buy zones. Same thing here. It tried, and it just kept selling off. But where did it sell off to? That first initial accumulation schematic. And if this thing is, let's say, overall bullish, right? If you had your Fibonacci from the lows to the highs, you're in deep discount territory now. You're in deep discount territory. So this is a good area to be buying. So what do? And naturally here, guess what? You're still buying. You may have gotten clapped a few times, but if you understand that this is overall bullish, you're going to keep taking the buys, using proper risk management, managing your trades properly so you have capital left over to even make it to this part. Don't get so caught up in all these areas. That's why I'm going to always preach this. It's always important to under leverage. And then what happens? More accumulation, more consolidation, another sweep, break above, and all of a sudden price just goes parabolic. Gone. Boom. That's what happens when price is overall uptrending. And this is essentially what happens on the NASDAQ as well. We had this massive uptrend, and then we switched, changed the character to a downtrend. Price sold off. And then it started to accumulate once more. And then what happened? Parabolic. Massive. Same thing. Very similar. Very similar. Uptrend, switch, gone. Could I do that? I was close. Sheesh. That's essentially what's going on here. And as far as we know, after breaking these highs, what are we doing here? We're trying to catch the retest. We want to catch that play right in here. We want to see this play out live on the charts. So stay tuned, stay plugged in. We're waiting for that right here. Clean retest. And if you really want to think about it, isn't this all accumulation, right? We have a low, a high, the sweep of these lows, the sweep of that liquidity, retesting previous accumulation schematics to then break structure to the upside. Massive. So this next pullback, whether it be here and we fly or we go deeper, all this is valid. All this from these lows to where price is going to retest. Maybe. Who knows? We don't know. The market can do anything, but anywhere from this retest, this break of structure, all the way down to these lows is going to be valid. So as price does do its thing, we have to just pay attention. Are we getting confirmation? Do we have the confirmation? Once we see this, we can start to scale in. We can start to look at price. We can start to set our buy limits. If you want to get even more technical, draw the Fibonacci from these lows to the current highs. Discounts all right here. Clean. And once right there, let's mark up some structure that's right there. We have, let's say, this structure here. We have this high, broke above, full body candle, retested, gone. Easy. Maybe you had this low marked up, didn't quite get that one, but you still got that one. Now you had some drawdown, 260, 290, let's just say 300. You were down 300 points. So, you're risking 300 to potentially make 3,000. That's a solid risk to reward. That's a 1 to 10. One position off of a simple buy limit. We broke above full body candle, and we all know a break of structure is essentially step 3 of the accumulation schematic. So that, boom, that plays out perfectly, right? Step 1, liquidity. Step 2, sweep. Step 3, break of structure. Mark up that break of structure. Boom. Make sure when we do break structure, it's a full body candle, not just a wick. You set your buy limit right there. Now that structure is broken, set your buy limit right there. Allow price to come back. If it taps into it, great. You may get some drawdown, like we saw. 300 points of drawdown? Okay, cool. Bet. And then price goes parabolic. This is going to repeat over and over and over. I've never seen the market not do this. And if you have seen it not do this, let me know. Send me the screenshot. Put me on game. But as far as I know, that happens when the market is uptrending. That's a solid confirmation. I like to use it. It's very basic. It keeps things simple. No need to make trading harder than it needs to be. That's why these videos cut the learning curve for you tremendously. I wish I had someone telling me this exact thing when I first started trading, because it would have saved so much time. But here you go. Thank me later with tacos. Join the Discord. Help me boost the server. Get Discord Nitro. Boost the server. Let's get it popping. Stay blessed. Let's catch these bags and let's run it up.